The War Museum in Bloemfontein, South Africa, hosted an international hybrid conference from the 24th to the 25th of November 2022. This conference was presented in collaboration with the Centre for Gender and African Studies at the University of the Free State. The theme of the conference was the Unsung Heroines and Youth of South Africa, histories and experiences of South African women and children during wars, conflicts and pandemics. The conference had a multidisciplinary focus and aimed to assemble historians, academics and other scholars researching the violent histories and experiences of women and children not only in the South African War of 1899 to 1902, but also in other conflicts during the colonial and apartheid eras, as well as in present-day South Africa, where high levels of violence against women and children are being experienced. The conference also coincided with the South African government's annual program of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence and the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, as declared by the United Nations. During the course of the two-day conference, more than 60 delegates from all over South Africa attended the event. Attendees included representatives of the heritage and tourism industry, the academic community, as well as other interested individuals and parties. The event was also streamed live with numerous national and international viewers following the proceedings of the conference online. Attendees were welcomed by the chairperson of the Council of the War Museum, Dr. Garth Bennyworth. The audience also had the opportunity to view a documentary produced by the War Museum. This video, titled Children in the South African War, highlighted the suffering and death of more than 40,000 white and black children in the war. The keynote address of Day 1 of the conference was delivered by Antjie Krog, extraordinary professor in the Faculty of Arts at the University of the Western Cape and internationally published poet and author. In her address, Professor Krog focused on analysing the narration and interpretation of rape in the so-called Havenga affidavits, which were compiled to investigate sexual violence against Boer women during the South African War. Day 2 of the conference was introduced by the director of the War Museum, Toki Pretorius, highlighting the strategic repositioning of this heritage institution. This process of strategic repositioning was demonstrated by means of the showing of another documentary produced by the museum titled Reclaiming Unity Once Denied. This video illustrated how the institution's focus shifted from being an exclusive Afrikaner museum to becoming an inclusive museum for all South Africans, while at the same time also highlighting the vulnerability and suffering of especially women and children during the hostilities. The keynote address of Day 2 was delivered by Heidi Hudson, internationally acclaimed academic and current Dean of the Faculty of Humanities at the University of the Free State. Professor Hudson gave an overview of the transition of women's peace movements to the contemporary woman, peace and security ecosystem. During the conference, 22 papers were presented, including 2 online presentations by scholars in Russia and Hungary, respectively. The conference program also included the opening of a dedicated exhibition at the UFS Art Museum on the evening of the 25th of November 2022. This exhibition was compiled from the collections of the War Museum, the UFS Art Museum and Art Bank SA. The title of this exhibition was Never-Ending Secrets and Untold Stories, the Embodiment of Women in War. The event allowed conference-goers the opportunity to socialize informally, making new acquaintances and rekindling old friendships. After the official opening, attendees could view and appreciate the works of art firsthand.
The exhibition is based on the embodiment of women in war. We are purposefully juxtaposing contemporary artworks with historical artworks, works from the archive, works never been seen. Never-ending stories and the untold secrets are embedded within a past war and a current war that women are facing today, which is located in gender-based violence.
This exhibition not only facilitated lively discussion amongst the attendees, but also served as an appropriate conclusion to the official proceedings of the conference. A conference which many attendees experienced as both informative and enlightening.
I found it a very interesting conference, specifically because it worked with two focus points. On the first day it was the Anglo-Boer War and its aftermath, and the deep experts, of course, of the Anglo-Boer War are based here in Bloemfontein. And on the second day today, it's about today. Violence, youth, women, and from a variety of perspectives that makes it contemporary and worthwhile tracing the lines back to the past.
I found the conference very educative, enlightening. In the past, it was the experiences of women and children during the wars that were fought, the colonial wars, wars of resistance, the liberation struggle war. Women and children suffered a great deal in this regard. Now, it didn't only end there. Today, the children and the women of South Africa are suffering from a different kind of war, that is a violence perpetuated against them by us men of this country against the children and women of South Africa. The killings, the rape, the uncaring kind of attitude that has to come to an end. So conference was mainly talking about the histories, the experiences of women and children during those periods of the past, and also reflecting on what is taking place today. That we as society, and in particular as men, should play our own role in terms of changing our attitude towards children and women of our country.
This was an incredible conference to attend. We were very privileged to hear from incredible academics and VIPs that were invited to speak, who definitely connected a lot of dots for me. It's extremely valuable as you begin to see different perspectives, knowledge, research, and I found it more than worthwhile. I must say though, the most incredible part about coming to this conference was seeing the museum. The restoration that's been done, the transformation, the preservation, it was enough to bring me to tears. So very, very grateful to have been here.